Hey everyone, Al Spader here to bring you some of the rules of Sentience 2D20. As you all well know at this point, Sentience is doing well on Kickstarter. We just crossed 10K this morning onto our 5th stretch goal. And there have been some people asking about what the mechanics are for the game. So I figured I would jump on, pull out my old Dune 20-sided dice here, and just quickly give you a quick overview of basic task resolution. So in Sentience, you are playing, of course, sentient robots who are going on adventures and perhaps, doing things within the city, doing things outside the city, et cetera, and challenges come up all the time. And the dice here are not to be rolled unless the outcome of what you want to do is questionable. Now, a GM can always ask you to roll dice to help you generate what's called momentum, and we'll deal with that in a second video. But typically, when you have to roll dice, the GM, or in the case of Sentience, the director, tells you what the difficulty of the test is going to be. So let's say that our friend here, Dorandal, he's our assembler robot, our pre-gen, and he was originally sent to New Dawn to build things, and that was pretty much his only job. Of course, since then, you notice that his programs have include things like juggling and tap dancing, as Dorandal is starting to explore some of the things that humanity did enjoy. Well, let's say that Dorandal is walking across a sandy hill, and the sand is always shifting beneath his feet. It's not easy, not an easy way to traverse, but it's also not super challenging. The GM might say, oh yeah, it costs, it's difficulty 1 to cross this sandy hill that you're walking on. And the director will tell you what the protocol is that you need to be rolling, and then you, as a character, decide which emotion you're going to use. So let's say that Dorandal is scuttling across this sandy dune, and the GM says that it is going to be a moving task. Well, a moving task, you can see that Dorandal has a 4. Dorandal is afraid of getting sand into its circuits, right? So perhaps Dorandal will be using fear for this roll. So what you do is you take these two numbers and combine them. So 8 plus 4 is a 12. And so this is a difficulty 1 task. Dorandal always starts with 2d20 in his pool. His goal is to try to roll 12 or below on his dice. And if he can do that with at least 1 die, he will meet the difficulty of the task and be successful. So you would pick up your 2 dice, you'd roll them together. You see that I rolled a 9, which is, underneath the 12 target. So there's a success, but I also rolled a 20. That's fun that should show up, as this is not like Dungeons and Dragons, folks. We're trying to roll under. 20s are bad. They're complications. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. Just the same, 1s, this is a Dune symbol here. 1s always count as 2 successes when you attempt a task. So Dorandal got 1 success, 1 complication. So Dorandal has successfully moved across this sandy dune. However, there's this complication, and the GM can do with this what they wish. They could add threat to their threat pool. As a GM, especially going across sandy dune, I might say that there's a sand slide, so the next few people that are crossing the dune are having a more challenging time getting across. But that is the basic task resolution. There are, let's say I got 2 successes on this difficulty 1 test or task. If I had gotten 2 successes, that means that I beat the difficulty of the task by 1, and I would generate something called momentum. Momentum is like this meta currency that you can use to do really cool things later on. My next video, we're going to talk a bit more about momentum and threat, but that is the basic dice mechanics. You always start with 2d20. There are ways to purchase dice beyond that 220 up to a total of 5d20. And that involves the meta currencies that you saw that I just brought out called momentum. So on the next video, we'll talk about momentum. We'll bring into the values as well and talk about what they mean. And we'll bring in programs as well and talk about what they mean, because every word on your sheet has meaning and has mechanics. It's not just numbers like in some other games and the words having no meaning. Every bit of this comes into play when you're trying to figure out if you're successful at a task. So that's it, folks. Dorandal successfully made it across the sandy dune. However, Doran may have caused a little sand slide and made it more difficult for his friends behind him. That's it. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and comment down below, and we'll be back with the next video.